What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla stock and break down something very important about the news. I'm also going to talk about how the things are looking for the markets as we have important resistance levels to watch for on Tesla, SPY, Nvda, and all these other tickers. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Put in $1,000 and you're guaranteed 15 free stocks. The offer ends very soon. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, we have this possible inverse head and shoulders like structure, but it's not looking as strong right now because if the market continues to reject, Tesla could just continue to sink lower and make the odds of this thing bouncing a lot more slim. Now, we're seeing a lot of negative news coming out. We had this big fire that was going on very, very close to the Gigafactory in Berlin for Tesla, and this is what caused the power outage, which is going to likely continue. On top of this, there's going to be a halt in production until like next week for Tesla, which is not good news whatsoever. But on top of this, there's another probe that's been opened by the German officials. They're going to continue to look into the situation as another group has taken responsibility for what has happened, and this is not the best of news for Tesla. This is still making headlines, so it's even more bad news. But on top of this, there's been some talk about Tesla shipping a $3,000 Cybertruck tent, and this is what it looks like. It doesn't really look like the original so far. We'll see if there are any other variants of it that look more like this, but this is how it's looking thus far. So this is like the base camp. It's a $3,000 tent designed for the back of the Cybertruck. It doesn't really look like what we were seeing in the original pictures in 2019. It looked really, really cool, at least back in the day, but the new one that's coming out doesn't really look like that so far. We'll see if Tesla gives us any new variants or anything like that, but that's what's basically happening. It's getting a lot of criticism for this. This is what the production version may be looking like. I'll be watching to see if we get more confirmation of this, but this is not too great looking, at least from my perspective. We'll see if there's any other assistance that could be made with the installation process and such, but the current camper just doesn't look that great on the Cybertruck. That's my honest opinion too. Hopefully, Tesla has other designs and something better, but that's pretty much making headlines for the time being. So as far as Tesla goes, let's break this down. We do have a possible inverse head and shoulders, but like I said, guys, be a little bit careful. If the market starts getting a bigger rejection, Tesla could end up rejecting too, but we have to try to hold 177.6, so be very, very careful. We need to see a nice bounce off of this later on and try to get back above 182.5 to turn bullish. If it breaks 180 then 182.5, we do turn bullish, and there is potential for us to go up to 187 to fill the gap. If we're bearish, you want to see this thing basically lose the support right here, starts sinking down to 175. If we lose this, a bigger drop is still possible. If we get below 175, we could be in a critical territory. So just be very careful on Tesla. A loss of that support could bring it all the way down to 172 again, or even 170. So in my opinion, we're seeing some weakness in the markets, which could slow Tesla down. This inverse head and shoulders does not have that much strength behind it, and Tesla is going to need a bullish catalyst for this thing to get a big bounce. So be very careful on Tesla. Why do I say this? It's because of SPY and the other tickers. SPY hits 518, but now it's struggling to get a breakout from there. You guys can see 518 is a very, very tough resistance. And if we do reject off this and start sinking lower, there is 517 as minor support, 516.5. 515.8, 514.2, 515 and 514.2 as support. I know I called a lot of levels, but that's because SPY is very tight. We have some very, very tight resistance and support levels. And overall, guys, 518 is a very tough resistance. If we do try to break 518, we could push to 519, then 520. But overall, we're not looking that strong. 518 is a very, very tough resistance, and we'll see how SPY does around here. It's a very, very tough area, so we'll see what happens. But just know there is a risk of us getting a rejection from there, in my opinion. So be very careful in the 518s. For the QQQ, you guys could see it tried to push up to about 448, kind of rejected a bit. We're trying to make our way back up to 447.5. But watch that zone right there. If we do end up losing that, our next target is going to be 446.73, followed by lower levels to like the 445 area, then 443.5. Tough resistance on the QQQ at 448. It's not looking the best right now. We have to watch and see how well it holds, but it is starting to reject a little bit. This could start to sink lower, so be very careful on the triple Q. What else is dictating this is Nvda, the one and only Nvda. You see it pushed up to about 974, kind of rejected a little bit. This is the level we called out in the morning. and now it's barely holding 962. If we lose 958, there's going to be a bigger risk of downside to fill this gap. Not fill the gap, at least come down towards like the 944 area. We'll just start with that. I don't want to be like I don't want to like go too ahead of myself. If we do lose 958, 944 is a possibility. If we break 974, we could turn bullish, but overall it's rejecting right here. It's looking kind of weak, and there is a risk of this slowing, so be very careful with that. As far as Apple goes, I just want to call out that Apple, it's been trying to push higher, but just be careful. Look at this resistance right here. This is where the previous top was right here at this 171.8 area to 172. To be bullish, I want to see it break 172.5. There's also a possible inverse head and shoulder structure with this left shoulder here, the head down here. So is it going to come back down to about 169.6 to 170, then come back up later? That's a possibility. But for now, I'm not too worried about that. We're just looking at this rejection that could be coming. We could be retracing back down to the 170 area. So be careful on Apple. There is this tight resistance up here, so we'll have to see how it goes. For a few more tickers, just for fun, just know that Tesla's showing a little bit of weakness right now. SPY has struggled to break 518, not 518. So watch that carefully. Super Micro, this thing attempted to get a nice breakouts today, but unfortunately, we got a little rejection, and now we could be coming back down towards 1200, and then below that we have 88, 1180, and then we have 1150 below that. If we do get a rejection below 1200, there is a possibility of that, so be careful. For a few more tickers, we have let me see, Microsoft. It was trying to get a breakout. We hit 410, and now it kind of rejected near 410. So watch 408 as key support. If we lose that, 407.5 is next, followed by 405. There is a potential rejection on Microsoft. For Amazon, we went up to 178. You guys can see we're forming a wick right here. We could actually retrace to 175 again if we fail to hold 177.5. There is a potential rejection that could be coming. Meta pushed all the way up to about this 520 area, starting to reject a bit. Could return to not just 517, but also 513, so be careful. All right, guys, so I'm warning everyone to be careful looking at the markets. Do what you have to do. I'm giving you guys a warning in advance. I just want to let you know that Tesla is once again not looking the strongest, so please be very careful. All right, thank you for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. I'll be back in just like maybe 3 or so hours to record another video, by the way. I want to give you guys more warnings about how things look by then. So I'll be gone for quite some time, about 3 hours. I'll be back by then. So until then, take care. Make sure you watch your levels, and just know SPY, the QQQ, and the others are showing some signs of rejection. You can see Apple sinking a little bit now. So be careful. This is what I was warning everyone about in my other video. Do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Tesla in the market to the moon, because the long term is still very bright despite this short term price action. And peace out.